Hello everyone! Thank you guys so much for being back here with me. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jackie Cano, the Jackie Cano, for those of you that do not know me. And we are going to be using the Let's Do Makeup Liveglam Shadow Me collab palette. Yay! I'm so excited to be using this palette. I love Les. She's so awesome. So I was able to get my hands on this palette. As of now, it is sold out. I don't think they're going to be restocking, but who knows, maybe they will because they did do so well. I'm not wearing lashes, so there's no lashes in this video, more because I ran out and I didn't know I was out of lashes. So if you like this look and you want to see a more neutral look with this palette, then enjoy. Thank you guys so much again, and without further ado, let's get on with the video. Already did my eyebrows and I already set my lids, so we're just gonna jump right in with the eyeshadow. We're gonna do that first. The first thing we are going to go in with is the transitions shade. We're gonna take the Morphe M441, this brush right here, and we're gonna go in with Kangaroo right here. I'm going in to my transitional area right here, right above the crease. These are so pigmented. Whenever I first went in, I just could not I was just a little shocked. I've never gotten eyeshadows from Liveglam, the Shadow Me subscription. For those of you that do not know, Liveglam has subscriptions for Morphe brushes, which is where I get all of my brushes. I'm kind of tilting my head back just a little bit, so that way I can get into my crease, and then once I've gone in there, then I'll go up just a little bit to blend that out. So there you go, and then just dust it out. And it's okay if you're messy all on right here, because we haven't done our face makeup or anything, so if anything, we can always just clean it up with concealer or the foundation. Okay, I'm going to do the other eye the same exact way. Okay, like I said, don't worry about the ends because we'll clean those up if needed. So there's that. Next, I'm going to take a smaller brush. This one was a little more fluffier, so we're going to take a smaller brush. I'm going to take the Morphe M433, and I just have some shorts and I'm just cleaning them off on my shorts. I'm going to take this and I'm going to go in with the shade, I'm going to go in with 915 right here. And I'm just going to dip it just a little bit. I'm gonna always tap off the excess. If not, you're gonna just end up with a huge thing of eyeshadow and it's gonna be super hard to blend out. And I'm just going to pat it in there. I'm not blending or anything yet. I'm just putting it in there in the area that I want it. Okay, once it's stamped in, then I'll go on the edge and start blending it out like this. And make sure you're using a light hand with your eyeshadow brush. I always hold it towards the end of the brush so I don't apply too much pressure. Like I don't hold it like a pencil because then I'll apply too much pressure and it'll be harder to blend out. So I always hold it towards the end of the brush. Helps me blend it out a lot better. Okay, and then once we've kind of put that shade in and kind of blended out the edges, I'll go back in with the first brush I had that had Kangaroo on it, and I'll just kind of blend out the very edges of the darker shade and the first shade. And what I'm doing is I'm going to tilt back a little bit, and then whenever there's not a lot of product left, then I'll just real quick go all the way in, just like that. I don't know if you can hear Julian out there, but he is harassing Alexa because he got the kids Alexa for his birthday, from my dad and my stepmom, which is awesome, right? Except all the things that he's looking up, she has no idea what that is because she's like limited to only kids stuff. And he's asking for like Michael Myers and he's asking for like Fortnite, and it's just like he's getting frustrated, so he's like yelling at her. So if you can hear him, that's what it is. And then he tries to say please, thinking it'll change her search, but she doesn't know. Oh, my son. Once I've got that shade in and I've blended out the edges and I've taken in the first brush that we went in and just blending out and melting those together. So I'm going to go in with Wrong O, which is the brown shade right here, right there. And dip into it, so it's a little dark. So then you want to tap off the excess, and all you're gonna do is put like a little dot right at the end, right there, just a little dot, because then you're gonna blend that out. I'm doing it on the other side. So once you have that little dark dot at the end of your lid, then you're going to very lightly just start blending it towards the inner part. And you don't want to move it all the way towards the center of your eye like the 915 shade, the lighter shade. You just want to keep it on the outer. Okay, and so once you have that dark shade down, you're going to take the brush that you had before this with the 915. You're not going to add any more product. It just kind of already has like leftover of that shade, and you are just going to go over it and then in front of it, just to blend it together. If you want, you can go in with the very first brush again that we had, just to blend out the top again, so it's not so harsh. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut just a little bit, if you have the time. I've done it without cutting it, but if you have the time, you're just going to get any concealer. I'm just grabbing this L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer, and I am taking this little brush. This is the same exact brush that I used in my eyebrow tutorial. So I'm taking this one and just getting a little bit concealer, and I'm just going to cut just the very front that has like the least amount of product. So just a little bit. And disclaimer, I am not the best at cutting crease. I just try and practice whenever I can. But yeah. What I'm gonna do right there is I'm going to take, you can either take your finger or you can take a flat brush like this. It's just like a flat, I'm gonna use a brush, and I'm going to dip into Cristina, which is the yellow gold. It's gold whenever you apply it. So you're just going to grab a little.
Every time I say something, she doesn't listen to me.
What you could also do is you can spray a little bit of water, or this is just my finishing spray onto the brush, and then you can dip it into the golds. And you're just going to very lightly pat on where you put that concealer. You can kind of like come into the dark area just a little bit, so that way it can blend together and it's not just a random stop-start situation going on. So then you'll take the smaller brushes that you had and just blend it in like this a little bit. You can also go in very lightly and go over the top and clean up anything that's kind of concealer left over or anything like that. So that's that right there. And let me just do the other eye. So there is that. I've gotten both eyes done. Back and see if anything looks uneven or anything like that. And I'll just take the same 3 brushes I had or just a clean one and just make sure everything is nice and blended out. And like I said, you can, if you're in a hurry, you can just do that with your finger. That's usually what I do, is I'll just do what I did at the beginning, and then I'll just take my finger and just really quickly do that. But to give it a little bit more pigment and to make it stand out a little bit more, I do cut the crease with concealer. I don't set the concealer so that way this can stick on there a lot better. Then I'll wet the brush and then pat it in there and then put it on there. Here, there, this, that. So taking my Kat Von D tattoo liner. Okay, so there we go. I've got eyeliner, and then I will probably still go back and stamp over my eyeliner to make it more of a smokier look. So I'm taking this brush, going into Jorge, which is the black shade in the palette, and I'm just going to stamp over the line I already placed, just to make it a little darker and smokier. Okay, so there we go. We have the eyes all done. So I'm going to prime my face with this No Pore Blend Primer in a Touch of Soul. It's a smooth and pore covering primer. I got this in my BoxyCharm. I'm telling you, I get so much stuff from my BoxyCharm. All primed up. Now we're going to take, I'm going to take the Milani Conceal and Perfect and the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation, and I'm gonna mix these two just because I want that extra coverage, and I'm running out of the Milani. So what I do is I just take it out like this, and I just put a little line. Get a tiny bit of the e.l.f. The e.l.f. foundation's a little more mattifying, whereas the Milani is a bit more of a glow. So I like to kind of even it out. So I'm taking my wet sponge, spritzing it with my Wet n Wild, and I'm just very lightly patting into the skin. I watched this video one time, and it was, I think it was Makeup by Ariel, the one that does Kylie Jenner's makeup, and he had said that whenever he does this, he does it so lightly and he does it for so long just because he wants to get the foundation deep into the skin, which makes sense. So whenever I have the time, that's what I'll do. I'll just take my time doing this. I don't like to put too much product on my forehead just because I don't want creasing to start up there, so I don't put too much. And then not too much under my eye. I don't go right in with foundation under my eyes because I'm already going to put concealer under there. So we don't want to put too much product in one area because that's when the cakiness starts and all of that. I'm going to be using this LA Girl Pro Conceal HD High Definition Concealer. This stuff is so affordable, and it works really good. I've always used the contour, the cream contour. Ooh, what am I doing? I always use the cream contour, but I've never tried a concealer. So one day I saw it and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it. And it honestly works really well. I really do like it. It works for my skin. Oh my gosh, that is a mess. Ignore that. And then a little bit down here. Spritz the pointier side, and then I'm just going to very lightly go in. So I obviously put the most product right here in the corner, because that's usually where it's the darkest under our eyes, is right in this area. That's why I put the most, and then I blend it out from there. And then right here, this is where we can clean up all the mess we made from. Now what I like to do is I'll flip my sponge to the rounder side, and we'll just spray one spray on there just to get it a little bit wet, and then I'll just go all around, especially where the concealer stopped and the foundation, where those two meet. I'll go and kind of blend those all together. Yay! Okay, so bam, we're here. Go ahead and set it. I just put it in the lid, and I'm just going to dip in there with the same exact sponge, and I'm going to kind of squint my eyes and tilt my head down so I can really see all those creases that I have, and I'm going to press in there and make sure to go back and forth to make sure to get into, because some creases go this way, you know, so you want to make sure to get into all of those and just press down. And then of course on the side of the nose. So there's that. So I've set the under eyes just by pressing that powder into the skin. And then I'll go and do my chin area the exact same way. To get my lines, my smile lines, these right here, what I'll do is I'll go like this, kind of like flatten it out. And then just press the powder into there as well. Perfect, and then just get a little bit and do my forehead where I put that concealer up here. And I will take the point of the sponge and just get a little bit, just to do down the bridge of my nose that I put a little bit of concealer. Okay, so whenever there's a little bit of leftover powder anywhere, if it didn't get like pressed into the skin all the way, I'll take this brush. This is the Morphe 438. I've had this for so long. I think since Jaclyn Hill had mentioned it a long time ago in one of her older videos. And I've had it ever since. I love it. Okay, so then you can just go back and just make sure that there's no more leftover powder. Just like that. Bam, and we're all brightened up where we need to be brightened up. So now we're going to contour. I got this Brontour. This is the Morphe Brontour. I got it one time when I went to the Morphe store. This Morphe R10, it's just a brush like this. I need to clean it. But I'm just going to get a little bit of the darker shade, just a little bit. The thing with contouring with powder is, or with anything, you don't want to get it too dark on the initial brush swipe or whatever, because then it's going to be super hard to blend out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of tap it all along here. I just do this now because one time I did it so dark and I just could not blend it out. It's just very scary. So this is what I do now, and then I'd rather go in super light than super dark because you can never come back from that. Can't. So, and then I just tap off so much. Okay, so then going on the other side, doing the same thing. I start at the top of my ear and go towards my mouth right here. Just tap, tap, tap. You can see a very discreet line like that, and then what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna dip it back in. I'm just going to very lightly just start brushing it upwards. You never want to go downwards because then it'll kind of bring your face down. The point of contour is making you look like snatched, girl, snatched. So you want to make sure you're blending it going upwards like this, and then I will dip it again a little bit to make sure you tap off all the excess. It's super pigmented, I'll tell you that. And then for my forehead, so here I'll start at my temple over here and just kind of tap it going upwards like this. As it's running out of product, then I'll slowly move my way down. This is to make your forehead appear smaller, which is what I need. So here we are. Okay. So there we go. Once you're comfortable, you're like, okay, there's no more in there, then you can kind of start blending it out like this. There we go. And then the very last time that I'll dip it in is for my jawline. So then just like I did my cheeks, I'm just going to very gently, like you can see the fear in my eyes when I do this. I'm just very gently, barely touching my skin, doing my jawline, going underneath my chin, and then again on this side. Yay, contour all done. It can be so scary, especially if you don't know how your product works or anything like that. So there we go. And then once you're comfortable and you're like, okay, I have nothing left, then you can just go back in over everything you did. And boom. Oh yeah, and lastly your nose, and that's just the tip of my nose is all I'm gonna do with this shade. Perfect. Okay, so now that we're done with that, we are going to go in with the Morphe E34. This is it's a little dome shaped, but it's a lot more fluffier. Go in with the Hula Benefit. I actually got this half off whenever Ulta had their 50% off thing. You know what I'm talking about. So I dip it in there, tap off the excess, just like this, and I'm just tapping like this. Just go up and down, mostly at the ends, and then I'll slowly work my way down. Just like that. And then with whatever's left, I'll go down, do my jawline, like that. So doing that again, going to the other side, really focusing on the outer, and then I'll come in. And again for the forehead, the same way as earlier, just kind of working my way up, tapping. And so this is what I'll use to contour my nose. I'll use this shade. So I'll go in with the G41. It's just a smaller. So then I'll dip into this, tap off the excess, and then I'll look down and really contour the sides of my nose. I'll kind of start like where my eyebrow is and then come down. Whenever I highlighted on the side of my nose with concealer, that also helps accentuate my nose contour. That's on there, you can slowly start to blend it out, going up and down. But if you still feel like it's super harsh, like it kind of is right now, I'll go in with the brush that I just had and I'll just squeeze the tip like this, and then I'll just blend it out like this. And if you feel like these edges are really harsh, then I'll go in with the powder brush, the translucent powder brush I had, and then just kind of blend that out. While I'm here, I'll just go under my eyes. Now that we are all done with that, now we can go in with blush, which if y'all saw my first video, y'all know I like to use a fan brush for blush. And I'm going to use this Wander Beauty Wanderous Dusk to Dawn. I like to use the Tuscan Sunrise shade. Has a little bit of a shimmer to it. So then I'll just go in there, and then a little bit of the Havana Lights. I'll just go a little bit like this. Tap off the excess. And then very lightly do here. So the shape of this blush, it's like in a little rectangle. It's perfect for like a fan brush. Just like this. If y'all did not know, blush is the first to go as far as your makeup, like throughout the day. So if you ever feel like you put way too much, or it's way too pink, or you know, it's just way too much for your liking, just remember that it'll start to fade. But if you're like, oh no, I cannot walk out the door like this, then just take the brush that you bronzed with and you just kind of pat it and it'll fade it out a little bit. It'll just bring the bronzer and the blush together. And there we go. And then to highlight, just to stick with this palette, I'm just gonna use the City Lights highlighter that's in this palette. I'm going to take a highlighter brush, which I'm going to use the M501. And you can spritz it, you can't, you don't have to. It's whatever your preference is. If you like a subtle highlight, then I don't think you should. But if you like a more boom highlights, then definitely spray your brush. And I focus more at the top of my cheekbone. I put it all right here, and then I'll just put a little bit down here. Go up a little bit. And then go over my lips, my chin, just a little bit. If you don't like a lot of highlight, then just do it wherever you are comfortable. And I'll take the setting spray or the Mario Badescu spray, spray all over before I put mascara. Take your beauty blender or sponge and just lightly pat in there. Turn it while you're doing it, just to melt everything together. And now we're going to finish the under eye, and using the same palette, Let's Do Makeup in Liveglam palette, I'm going to take my brush that I used for the transitions shade, the bigger one, and I'm just gonna go back into Kangaroo and meet at the end of the eye and come down. With one of the smaller brushes that I use for the outer corner for my eyeshadow, I'll go into, I'll mix 915 and Rongo, the two shades that I used, and I'll tap off the excess, and then I'll do the outer corner. Meet at the end, put the most at the outer corner, and then slowly come in. I won't go all the way to my inner corner unless you like that. Do whatever you want, baby girl. There's that, and if it's too dark or if it's too much, then just go back in with the fresh brush and then blend it out. I'm going to curl my lashes and then mascara, and then I can't decide if I'm going to put lashes on or not, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I am back. Doesn't even look like much of a difference. I just put mascara because your girl needs to go get lashes. I didn't even realize I was out. Good thing I don't need lashes today, so it's okay. So we just put mascara, and all we have to do now is just highlight the inner corner. So I'm gonna take the same exact palette and go in with, I'm gonna take this pointier brush, which is the M560, and just dip into, put a little bit in the inner corner, the most in the very, very inner corner, and then go out, as there's not as much product on the brush. And if you like to put highlight on the brow bone, you can take, so I'm gonna go in with a more gold one. This is just the Wet n Wild Flower Crown, the one I used in my first video. And I'm just gonna dip into that with the same brush and just do the, just right here, not the entire thing. There we go, just right there. There we go. And then if you want to highlight down the bridge of your nose, just a tiny bit, you can also do that, and then a dot. There. So there we go, guys. So that is everything. Oh, lips, hello, lips. I want to do a nude color with this look since it is more of the neutral, a little bit of glitter. So I'm just gonna go in with a nude lip. So this is the ColourPop BFF2. Alrighty guys, well, that is the look! Yay! I really do love this palette. I haven't used any of the colors yet, just the more neutral ones. But so far I love it. So if you were able to get your hands on it, go us. But if not, then if you don't have this palette, I hope you still enjoyed this video. And until next time guys, thank you guys so much for watching.